Dark Souls and the lands of Lordran is a world full of wonders, just begging to be discovered. And while much of the world is just a short trek away, many areas, items and useful NPCs are both figuratively and literally locked away. With that in mind, here is my full guide on all 24 keys that you will need to obtain in order to unlock all of Lordran's secrets, including the one key to rule them all, the Master Key. Kicking things off is the Dungeon Cell Key. And luckily for you, this key figuratively drops in your lap at the start of the game, when Oscar of Astora, our literal knight in shining armour, drops it through a hole in the cell ceiling where we start the game. This key, if you hadn't already guessed, will allow you to escape the cell that the game so kindly starts you off in, and you can then continue to explore the Undead Asylum as you make your escape. The Undead Asylum Floor 2 East Key can be obtained from Oscar of Astora, the very same knight in shining armour that dropped the key that released you from your cell at the very start of the game. To get to Oscar, you will first need to walk up the stairs in this section. Then a hollow enemy will push a boulder down the stairs to try and take you out, but with a quick dodge to the side, you can quickly avert getting squished Indiana Jones style. As fortune would have it, the boulder has now smashed into the wall at the bottom of the stairs, giving you access to a cell that contains Oscar of Astora. So go inside and talk to him and exhaust his dialogue, and he will then give you your Estus Flask and the Undead Asylum Floor 2 East Key. This key can then be used to unlock the gate at the top of the stairs, giving you access to a balcony that you can utilise to perform a plunging attack on the tutorial boss, the Asylum Demon, which will deal considerable damage to the first boss of the game. The big Pilgrims Key is needed to open the large double doors at the end of the Asylum Demon's boss arena, and will need to be opened in order to exit the Undead Asylum and continue with your playthrough. For most players, the big Pilgrims Key will be given to you as a reward for defeating the Asylum Demon. But for any of you goated chosen undead that managed to defeat the Asylum Demon when you first encountered him, you may have noticed that you weren't given this key and have just been wandering the Undead Asylum looking for what's next. For those of you in this predicament, from the Asylum Demon's arena, head through the gate on the wall to the left of the locked large double doors. Follow this path round, and not only will you find another trusty bonfire, but you will also find your starter weapon and other gear. So collect it all and head to the end of the corridor. Kill the archer and then head up the stairs at the very end. From here, go through the door and you will see a smashed gate, and if you look through the bars you will find Oscar of Astora, the knight in shining armour that originally dropped the key in your cell and enabled you to escape at the very beginning of the game. However, there doesn't appear to be any way into this room that he's currently in, so if you take the right turn past this damaged cell door, then immediately take the left up the stairs, a large stone boulder will come flying down at you. So dodge out of the way and do a 180, and then you will see that the boulder has smashed a hole in the wall, enabling you to go inside and meet Oscar. Once inside, talk to Oscar and he will give you the Estus Flask, which will enable you to heal, the Undead Asylum Floor 2 East Key, and finally the big Pilgrims Key. You can now head back down into the Asylum Demon's arena and open the large double doors. Once outside, you can finally breathe a breath of fresh air, take in the sights, and once you are done exploring this little area, head up to the very end of the hill and your Dark Souls journey can now truly begin. The Undead Asylum Floor 2 key can be found on top of the curved roof in Firelink Shrine, but in order to get up onto this roof you will first need to have unlocked the elevator between the Undead Parish and Firelink Shrine. So from the lift, either heading from the top or the bottom, drop off onto the first ledge from the bottom of the lift, located right here. Then from this ledge, head to the right and line yourself up with the wall jutting out below. Next, do either a running jump or roll onto the wall and follow it all the way up, going through the hole in the wall. Follow the stairs up to the left, and then when you reach the top of the first set of stairs, you will then see the top of the curved roof, with a white glowing item on top of it. This is the Undead Asylum Floor 2 key. So do a run and a jump and then collect the key. In order to use the key, you will need to return to the Undead Asylum. So repeat the previous steps to get back to the top of the stairs, and then instead of jumping off the stairs onto the curved roof, follow the stairs all the way up to the top, and follow the edge round, and then you will find a bird's nest at the far end. Press the prompt to curl up into a ball, and then wait. After a short time, you will then be collected by the crow and flown back to the Undead Asylum. Once you have returned to the Undead Asylum, head down to the hill, killing any enemies along the way. Go through the Asylum Demon arena, but be careful not to step in the middle section as the floor will crumble beneath you, dropping you into another boss fight. So for the time being, stick to the outer edges of the arena, and then exit the far door. Next, provided you open the shortcut when you were originally here, you can then head to your left and go through the shortcut. Follow the stairs to the top, do a 180, and then go up the flight of stairs, again avoiding the boulder, and then killing the hollow soldier. Follow this path to the very end, and then turn left and kill the 3 hollows lurking on the balcony. Instead of going left to the plunging attack spot, head straight forward and go through the doorway, and kill the 2 enemies in the room. Once done, you can then use the Undead Asylum Floor 2 West key on the locked door. Once open, follow the corridor to the end, and then you will find the rusted iron ring on the floor halfway down the broken staircase. The Residence Key can be obtained from the Undead Merchant in the Undead Burg for 1000 souls. To access the Undead Merchant, from the Undead Berg bonfire, head across the wooden planks and go right down the staircase, killing any hollows along the way. Then continue down the path and turn left at this point right here. Head up the staircase and to your left hand side you will see several boxes. Roll into them and it will uncover a staircase leading down into the building below. At the bottom of the stairs, go through the doorway to your left and you will find the Undead Merchant sitting across the way. Once you have obtained the Residence Key, this can then be used to unlock 2 doors in the upper and lower Undead Berg. The first door that it unlocks can be found behind the 3 enemy hollow warriors by the tower. So dispatch these hollows and then enter the door. Proceed to then exit the room to the rear, and on the ledge you will find a chest containing 3 gold pine resins. This consumable item will apply lightning damage to your main weapon for 60 seconds, and is particularly useful for both the Taurus Demon and Bell Gargoyle bosses that you will soon be facing, as both of these bosses are weak to lightning damage. The second door that the Residence Key opens is located in the lower Undead Berg. So once you have descended the large staircase, be careful of the 3 undead attack dogs that will attack you the moment you reach the bottom section of the stairs. Once they have been taken out, head right and then follow the path to your right. On your left hand side you will find a door which is locked. Use the Residence Key to open this door and inside you will find Griggs of Vinheim. And once you have exhausted his dialogue, he will then move to Firelink Shrine and can be used to purchase a variety of spells, a catalyst and 2 Dragon Crest rings. The Mystery Key can be found in the Undead Parish, in a room near the Armoured Fangboar. To get here, head down the stairs on the right hand side of the Fangboar and clear out all of the hollows in the area. Once this first section is clear, head up the stairs in front of you and turn left, and you will find several wooden tables. To the back left of these tables, you will find a small set of steps going down, and you will find the Mystery Key here in this corner. Once you have obtained the Mystery Key, it can then be used to unlock the cell containing Lautrec of Karim in the Undead Parish. To get to his cell, from the Undead Parish bonfire, located in the old church by Andre the Blacksmith, head all the way up the stairs, and then head towards the Undead Parish. Once inside, to the right of the elevator shortcut that takes you to Firelink Shrine, head up the staircase and kill the Boulder Knight. Then follow the stairs and corridor to the top. Before you enter the next room, beware as you will be ambushed by a horde of hollows, and there is also a channeler enemy ready to pew you too. This channeler can be sniped from the bottom floor and will save you some aggro when entering the next section. So once the channeler is out of the way, herd the horde of hollows into the corridor and take them out. Once they are all killed, enter the room and then turn left, and then left again through the archway. Follow this corridor and continue forwards. You will then encounter another Boulder Knight. Take them out and continue forwards. At the end of this corridor, you will then see a wall with 2 boarded up doors. The right of these can be broken, so attack it, or roll into it and head through. Follow the staircase all the way to the top and you will find Lautrec of Karim locked inside a cell. You can then speak to him, and if you choose, you can use the Mystery Key to unlock his cell door. Once freed, he will then head down to Firelink Shrine, but it is worth asking yourself, why was he imprisoned in the first place? The Basement Key can be found on the steps behind the Portcullis Gate behind the Armoured Fangboar. If the gate has already been closed by the Hollow, then you can access the other side by traversing down the passageway beneath the gate. This then takes you through the building to the left, which then eventually connects to the bridge above the gate. Follow this path all the way round, past the Boulder Knight, and then take the left-hand turning, and you will find yourself at the top of the steps outside the Undead Parish. At the bottom of the steps, you will find the Basement Key. From this location, you can also use the lever to reopen the Portcullis Gate. Once you have the Basement Key, it can then be used to open the door on the right-hand side at the start of the Hellkite Wyvern Bridge. This door then gives you access to a ladder that takes you down to the lower Undead Berg, where you can find the Capra Demon, a shortcut back to Firelink Shrine, and the entrance to the depths. But before you go off exploring this new area, it is worth heading up the stairs at the start of the lower Undead Berg, as this will then take you to a door which, once opened, will provide you with a much needed shortcut to near the Undead Berg bonfire. The Watchtower Basement Key can be found at the top of the tower after defeating the Moonlight Butterfly in the Darkroot Gardens. So to get it, after defeating the boss, continue along the wall and then enter the tower and follow the staircase all the way to the very top. At the top, you will find a petrified blacksmith next to his workbench, and the Watchtower Basement Key alongside the Divine Ember on the floor. The Watchtower Basement Key will unlock the shortcut door between the Undead Berg and the Darkroot Basin located where Havel the Rock is. This shortcut can be opened from either side, so to access it from the Darkroot Basin, follow the path down from the Undead Parish until you reach the large open area where the Hydra is located. But instead of heading down towards the Hydra, head right up towards the tower, and you will then find a set of stairs with a locked door at the top. And you've guessed it, you can then use the Watchtower Basement Key here to gain access to Havel. And if you head up the stairs in this tower, the key will also unlock the door that leads into the Undead Berg. To access it from the Undead Berg side, from the Undead Berg bonfire, head left across the bridge being attacked by firebombs, and go into the room containing the 3 hollow soldiers. Exit the room by the door in the left corner and continue forwards. Then take the stairs up to the right and you will be in the open area with 3 hollows, one of which will also be throwing firebombs at you. Clear the area and then head down the steps to the left. Here you will encounter several shielded hollows. Dispatch them and then head up the stairs to your right. The hollow at the top of these stairs will then roll a flaming barrel down the stairs to attack you, so be sure to dodge it. Once the hollow is killed, go through the door at the top of the stairs. Now, instead of going up the stairs in the tower towards the Taurus demon, head for the door on the far side of the room. You can then use the Watchtower Basement Key to open this door. Follow the staircase all the way down to the bottom, and as before, Hava will be here guarding the other locked door which leads to the Darkroot Basin. The Crest of Artorias unlocks the door next to the Darkroot Gardens bonfire that has been sealed by ancient magic. The crest can be obtained in one of two ways. It can either be purchased from the blacksmith Andre of Astora, who is located at the bottom of the Undead Parish Church for 20,000 souls, or if you're feeling a little feisty, it can be obtained by killing Andre. But be warned, this is easier said than done, as Andre's years of wielding a blacksmith hammer has given him one hell of a right hook. Personally, I would never advise anyone to kill Andre, as once you do so, you will lose the ability to upgrade weapons to +10. Another reason is that while the Crest of Artorias does give you quick access to the section of the Darkroot Gardens called the Forest Hunter Woods, which contains both the Forest Hunter Covenant and the mandatory boss Sif, there is actually an alternative way to access this area. To find this alternative entrance, head to the bottom of the Darkroot Basin, where the Hydra mini-boss is located. And if you haven't already killed the Hydra, do so now, as you'll more than likely get sniped if you don't. Once the area is clear, follow the left-hand side of the lake just past the waterfall, and you will find a ladder leading up. Take this all the way to the top, and then cross the bridge to your left. After you have crossed the bridge, turn right and follow the path along the river, carefully manoeuvring around the stone buttress. Then you will find another ladder on your left, and this will take you up on the other side of the Forest Hunter Woods. But be careful, as there are a couple of great feline enemies guarding this route. The main downside to using this alternative entrance is that it does take some time to travel to it from the nearest bonfire, namely the one in the tunnel between the Darkroot Basin and the Valley of the Drakes. So personally, I would say that the 20,000 soul price tag for the Crest of Artorias is well worth it compared to the time it would take to traverse this alternative route. The key to the depths can only be obtained by defeating the Capra Demon, who is located at the end of the lower Undead Burg. Once you have defeated the Capra Demon, to the right of the Fog Gate, when facing it from outside of the boss arena, head right and take the staircase all the way down. But be careful though, as there are two undead assassin enemies, one right in front of you, but another round the corner to your left, hiding ready to ambush you. Once you have killed these enemies, follow the path all the way round to the right, and you will find a metal door that will then lead you to the depths and eventually Blighttown. But before you head this way, do a 180 and you will find a set of stairs butted up against the opposite wall. Once in the tower, follow the staircase all the way to the top. And this will then lead you to the aqueduct tunnel that you originally used to enter the Undead Burg from Firelink Shrine. But from this end, you can now access the female Undead Merchant, and are able to open the gate that previously denied you entry from the Firelink Shrine side. This is a great shortcut to open up, as it will save you having to traverse the entirety of the Undead Burg if you do need to backtrack in the future. The Sewer Chamber Key will give you access to the room containing the only bonfire within the depths. And while I recommend fully exploring the depths on a first playthrough, for those on subsequent runs, you may want to beeline it straight to the bonfire, and therefore the key needed to access it. And there are two ways to do this depending on where you currently are within the depths. Firstly, from the locked door by the depths bonfire, head down the stairs to your left. Then ignore the ladder down on your left, but keep going forwards to the passageway at the end of the room. This will then lead you into the sewers containing multiple rat enemies. From here, head left and follow the sewer all the way round to the left, being careful of any lone wooden boxes, as these will contain rat enemies that will jump out and attack you. Once near the end, go down the small staircase and kill the rats at the bottom, and you will find the Sewer Chamber Key on a corpse behind the railing, but fret not, as you can still collect it from this side. From here, either backtrack to the bonfire room to create a checkpoint in case you die, or if you are feeling lucky and want to open up a shortcut between the area boss and the bonfire room, do a 180 and go through the tunnel underneath the stairs where you just came from. As soon as you enter this tunnel, take the first turning to your right, and follow the slope down. At the bottom of this slope, there will be a hole in the floor, so you will want to do a running jump over this hole. Then take either of the next two right-hand passages, and this will then lead you to the bottom floor of the room containing the large rat enemy. You can either kill the rat or make a beeline straight past it, sticking to the left-hand side of the room, and you will come to the waterfall. Slide down this waterfall, again sticking to the left-hand side, and you will then find yourself in the last room before the Gaping Dragon Arena. From here, you can either take the second passageway on your right and head straight to the boss, or you can take the first turning on your right and open up the shortcut that will give you quick access to the room and the ladder near the depths bonfire. Alternatively, if you have only just started your journey into the depths, did you know that in the room with the butcher, there is a hole in the floor by the back wall? Well, if you drop down into this hole, you will land on the ledge above the giant rat. If you then drop down, again, you can either kill the rat or run straight for the Sewer Chamber Key located on the corpse by the railing on the left-hand side. Once you have it, head for the waterfall at the far end and stick to the left-hand side and safely slide down to the next section. As before, you can then either open up the shortcut door back to the depths bonfire or just head straight on to the Gaping Dragon Arena. The Blighttown Key can only be obtained by defeating the Depths boss, the Gaping Dragon. Once you have reigned victorious against the Gaping Dragon, head back out of the arena until you reach the large sewer room. Once you enter it, head right and go through the broken metal railings at the end. And to your right, you will find Domhnall of Xena, a merchant NPC who will sell you various wares. Plus, the more money you spend with him, the more information he will give you. Domhnall will stay here until you have rung both bells of awakening, and at which point he will then move location to under the aqueduct in Firelink Shrine. Once you're all done with Domhnall, you can head right and go to the large metal doors at the very end of the room. The Blighttown Key will then open this, giving you one of two ways to access Blighttown. The key to New Londo Ruins can be found in a chest at the very top of Blighttown, and can be accessed from one of two directions. If you are already in Blighttown, from the sewer bonfire, head right and follow the right hand wall until you reach the large wheel elevator contraption. Walk up the ramp and then at the end head up the ladder. Once at the top, continue forward to the back wall, and then drop onto one of the rising platforms connected to the elevator. Wait until you reach the very top and then drop off the elevator onto the platform and head left, and you will then find a ladder. Take this ladder all the way to the top, and just in front of you to your right hand side you will find another ladder. Again, take this ladder to the very top, being careful to avoid any of those pesky mosquitoes along the way. Once at the top of the ladder, continue forward following the zigzagging walkway, and then on your left next to a wheel leaning against the wall, you will find another ladder, and again you've guessed it, climb this one up to the next platform, where you will find yet another ladder leading up to a small platform. Continue to work your way up this series of ladders, and you will reach a platform with a crag spider enemy. Proceed to take it out or dodge past it, and follow the walkway to the end. Once at the end, turn left, and then back on yourself and you will see another ladder. Once at the top of this one, cross the next platform and then climb up the ladder just in front of you to the left. And success! You have now reached the top of this end of Blighttown. From the top of the ladder, turn right and you will find a chest in the corner that contains the key to the New Londo Ruins. Alternatively, you can access this area of Blighttown from the Valley of the Drakes, through the tunnel heading left from the top of the ladder. So, from the bonfire located near the Black Knight at the bottom of the Darkroot Basin, follow the tunnel away from the Darkroot Basin, and you will arrive at a lift. Pull the lever to activate the lift, and then once it arrives, take the lift all the way down. Once at the bottom, exit the lift and follow the corridor round until you reach the exit, and you have now entered the Valley of the Drakes. From here, continue down the hill and then follow the path to the very left along the cliffside, and you will encounter various drakes, so either take them out or do your best to dodge past them. Continue along this path and eventually you will reach a large sleeping drake, and it's worth noting that this drake will remain asleep unless you try and plunder his loot or attack him. So for the purpose of this video, we'll let him catch up on some of his sleep. Once past the sleeping drake, continue along the path and you will reach a rope bridge. Cross this and then continue along the path, sticking left. You will eventually reach a wooden board that leads you to the right hand side of the valley, but for now, stick left, and you will reach an entrance to a cave. This cave then leads you to Blighttown, so follow the cave, ignoring the 3 infested barbarian enemies. And after a short while, you will then find yourself back on the familiar wooden walkways of Blighttown. Continue to the far end and you will reach the chest containing the key to New Londo Ruins. Now that you have the key, to use it, return back down the tunnel leading to the Valley of the Drakes. And remember that wooden plank bridge I mentioned earlier in the video that goes to the other side of the valley? Well, now's the time to cross it. From here, head left and then you will reach a locked gate, which you can then use the key to New Londo Ruins to open. Once inside, follow the stairs and you will enter the New Londo Ruins. It is worth noting that once you have the key to New Londo Ruins, if you forgot to open the shortcut when you were in the Valley of the Drakes, you can also open it from the New Londo Ruins side too. This shortcut can then be utilised to make your way back and forth between Firelink Shrine by utilising the lift in the New Londo Ruins and Blighttown, saving you the need to retraverse the depths whenever you want or need to visit Blighttown and beyond. The key to the seal, once acquired, will allow you to open the large floodgates of New Londo Ruins, draining the lower area, giving you access to both the Four Kings boss fight and an alternative shortcut to the Valley of the Drakes. The key to the seal can only be obtained from Ingward, the Guardian of the Seal, who is an NPC located on the roof of a building in New Londo Ruins. You can obtain the key to the seal from Ingward in 2 ways. Firstly, you can talk to him once you have acquired the Lord Vessel from Guinevere in Anor Londo, and he will give you the key to the seal. Alternatively, if you would like to obtain it prior to acquiring the Lord Vessel, or if you're just in a rush, you can simply kill Ingward either at close range or from afar with a bow and arrow, and the key to the seal will be automatically put into your inventory. So first things first, to find Ingward, from the start of New Londo Ruins, cross the wooden plank walkway. Once at the end, consume a transient curse so that you can take out any ghost that may get in your way. Then continue forwards through the shallow water and then ascend the staircase at the end all the way to the top. Once at the top, continue forwards across the stone bridge and go through the archway. Then either kill the ghosts or dodge past them and go through the doorway at the far end of the room. Next, turn left and go down the spiral staircase to the bottom. Then follow the corridor and turn right at the very end. Follow this path right and then go left. And then on your right hand side, you will find a fog gate in the wall. Enter the fog gate and go up the staircase. Once at the top, kick the ladder in front of you down for future use as a shortcut, or turn left and walk through the pillared archways until you reach the end. Once at the end, turn left and go down the staircase. Now it's at this point here on the stairs that if you want to snipe Ingrid from afar, you can pull out your bow and arrow and shoot him in the head. Other ranged attacks also work as long as you aim first with the bow to get the correct angle. It's worth noting on a new game, Ingrid has 682 HP, so you'll need to either have sufficient damage output or enough arrows to kill him. If however you don't want to kill Ingrid, continue down the stairs and then take the door on your right hand side. Once inside, go through the archway immediately in front of you, and you will enter a room with lots of pots and several ghosts. It is worth killing the ghosts here, as otherwise you can very easily get swamped if you try and rush past them. So once the first room is cleared, go through the doorway on your left hand side and you will enter another room full of ghosts. Again, dispatch them at your own discretion, and then head to the far end of the room where you will find a fireplace. Inside the fireplace is a ladder that leads to the very top of the building, so ascend it, and then once at the top, head to the other end of the roof and you will find Ingrid. Talk to him, and providing you already have the Lord Vessel, he will then present you with the key to the seal. Now that you have the key to the seal, the only thing now is to use it. So from the roof, head back down the ladder and backtrack to where we first entered the building. Instead of exiting the building, turn right and go down the stairs, and then exit the building through the door on your left hand side. Once outside, turn right and then turn right again at the corner of the building, and follow the staircase all the way to the top. Next, turn left and follow the path along the wall, and you will then enter a tower at the far end. Follow the staircase down and you will find a locked gate, which you can now open with the key to the seal. This then gives you access to a lever contraption that when turned will open the large floodgates of New Londo Ruins, which then drains the lower area of water ready to be further explored as you make your way to the Four Kings boss fight. And as mentioned earlier, these open floodgates now also create a shortcut between the Valley of the Drakes and New Londo Ruins. The cage key can be used in Sen's Fortress to open many of the hanging cages located throughout the booby-trap-laden funhouse. To obtain the cage key, from the balcony bonfire in Sen's Fortress, follow the corridor and then at the end turn left, and go up the two small staircases. At the top, turn left and then go up the next two set of stairs and you will find yourself at the area where the giant throws the firebombs down at you. From here, on the left hand side, go up the next set of stairs and do a 180 and continue forwards. Ascend the final set of stairs in this area, and once you're at the top, do a slight chicane to the right and cross the bridge walkway. When you reach the crossroads of sorts, turn left. From here, you will need to do a run and jump over the gap sticking to the left hand side. Next, follow this walkway to the tower and you will find the Crestfallen Merchant, but for the time being we can ignore him and head immediately left upon entering the tower and follow the stairs all the way to the base of the tower. Once you're at the bottom, head through the arched doorway and you will see a serpent mage enemy at the end of the way. And just on the floor behind him you will see the shining glimmer of loot that is the cage key. So either take out the serpent mage or dodge past him, collect the item and then bail on out of there. Once you have the cage key, it can then be used to open several different cages located within Sen's Fortress. Firstly, it can open the cage lift, which is located in the room below the fog gate for the Iron Golem. Once it has been unlocked, you can enter the cage and it will then lower you down to the main bridge walkway, located at the beginning of Sen's Fortress. This shortcut is such a handy one to unlock for anyone wanting to quickly backtrack this area prior to obtaining the Lord Vessel. The second cage this key can open is hidden behind a breakable wall behind the man serpent, who is snoozing against the wall. To break the wall, you can either utilise the boulder contraption and turn it so that it sends a boulder down the path leading to the wall, both breaking it and given enough boulders it will take out the man serpent, or the second way to break the wall is to bait the man serpent into doing a thrusting attack towards the wall. This will then break the wall. The best way to do this is to stand with your back to the wall and use your shield to block his attacks. Even if you block the thrust, the wall will still break. Once you have access to this area, down on the right hand side you will find Big Hat Logan locked in a cage. You can use the cage key to free him. Once you have exhausted his dialogue, Big Hat Logan will then move to Firelink Shrine and you can then purchase a whole variety of standard and advanced spells from him. Also located in the area where Big Hat Logan was imprisoned, down on the left hand side you can also find another locked cage, containing a soul of a hero, which when consumed will give you 10,000 souls. Other than these three cages, there are also empty locked cages that you can unlock and stand in, helping you to avoid the boulders rolling down the path. After being so unceremoniously forced to die by Seath the Scaleless at the end of the Duke's Archives, you will find yourself in a small cell with no apparent way to escape. Well, the Archive Tower cell key will provide you with your freedom, and the only way to get it is from the sleeping man-serpent guard who is located on the other side of your cell door. Simply attack the guard through the railing and then pillage his body to obtain the Archive Tower cell key. Once you have it, unlock your cell and then continue to explore the Duke's Archive prison. In addition to opening your own cell, the Archive Tower cell key will also open the 2nd, 4th and 5th cell door located down the staircase on your right hand side. The 2nd cell is empty other than an undead crystal soldier. The 4th cell contains 2 undead crystal soldiers and a drop down to the 5th cell. And the 5th cell contains 1 undead crystal soldier and the Archive prison extra key. The Archive Prison Extra Key will enable you to open all the remaining cell doors located in the first section of the Duke's Archive prison. As mentioned before, this key can be found in the 5th cell down from the main staircase, and is located on a corpse in the far left corner of the cell. Once you have obtained it, you can then use it to open several cell doors that the Archive Tower cell key won't open. Firstly, this key opens the other cell door within your original cell. This is located at the far end of your cell, and will give you access to a narrow walkway that can then be used as a shortcut to the gramophone located at the bottom of the staircase. So once you have opened it, turn right and drop down onto the ledge below, and you will immediately find a soul of a brave warrior on a corpse in front of you. This can then be consumed to obtain 5,000 souls. Next, continue along the walkway, and then drop off the far end, and you will find yourself on a stone balcony overlooking the platform where the gramophone and several serpent enemies are located. The second cell it opens is the 3rd cell door down the staircase, if we count the cells as number 1 being your own cell. In this room, you will find a large soul of a brave warrior on a corpse in the far corner, and this can be consumed to obtain 8,000 souls. Also, if you have fully completed Rhea of Thorolund's questline, you will then find her here in this 3rd cell, where she has now gone hollow and will attack you if you get too close. If you do her a favour and put her out of her misery, then she will drop the Ivory Talisman and 7 humanities. The Archive Tower Giant Door key will open the giant door located at the top of the ladders in the Duke's Archive prison, the one that the 2-man serpent guards run up to when you first load into the area. To obtain this key, you will need to make your way down the main staircase in the prison, killing any enemies you find along the way. Once at the bottom of the stairs, head up the ladder to the floor above. From here, kill the 3 enemies guarding the gramophone. You will then find the Archive Tower Giant Door key in a chest on the opposite side of the platform. You can also access this area by taking the shortcut from your original cell using the other door, following the walkway down and then dropping down onto the gramophone platform. Once you have the key, head back to the top of the staircase, climb up the ladder, and then open the Tower Giant Door. And you now have your freedom and can continue your journey through the rest of the Duke's archives. The Archive Tower Giant Cell key will open up the cell door located in the room below the gramophone, at the bottom of the main staircase. To find the Archive Tower Giant Cell key, you will need to have accessed the hidden library that leads to the Crystal Caves. So, first things first. To access this area, after going through the Tower Giant Door, head forward and then take the left-hand turning, and follow this path, killing any enemies along the way. Then at the end, turn right and go up the staircase, and you will now enter the main section of the Duke's archives. Turn left and head straight forward, killing the Dancing Channeler, and then continue straight forwards through the arch passageway at the end. Once you have gone through, kill the undead crystal soldier hiding around the corner to your right, and then head straight forwards, being careful not to get sniped by the undead crystal archer. To the right of where the archer is stood, there will be a staircase to your left, heading up to the floor above on the other side of the archive. Head up this staircase, but stop halfway, and on your right, you will find a contraption that you can turn. Doing this will cause the staircase in both sections of the archive to rotate. Once it is turned around, head up the stairs to the floor above where you just came from. At the top of the stairs, turn left and follow the path all the way down, again killing any enemies along the way. About halfway down this path on your left hand side you will see an open section of railing. From here drop down onto the other rotating staircase, and follow the stairs halfway up to the contraption, and turn it. But be careful, as there is a channeler at the top of the stairs trying to shoot you with range attacks. Once the staircase has rotated, follow the stairs down and then turn right. Then on your left hand side you will see an open balcony, with an archer on the far side. Ignore the archer and then take the ladder down that is on the right hand side of this balcony. This will then take you to the hidden library. It is worth noting that from the bottom of the ladder, you can use the lever to open up a shortcut that leads to the bottom floor of the archives, and to the Duke's Archives balcony bonfire. This will be your main resting spot before taking on the Crystal Caves and Seath the Scaleless. Now that you have the shortcut open, you are free to explore this hidden area, as there are several chests containing loot, but there is also a mimic, so be sure to check the chain coming out of the chest first, as if it coils back to the chest, it's safe to open, but if it's a broken chain that leads towards you, it will be a mimic. The chest we are looking for that contains the Archive Tower Giant Cell key is located in the chest at the far right corner of the room, next to the lever that drops the staircase that leads to the outside of the Duke's archives, and then to the Crystal Caves. Once you have the Archive Tower Giant Cell key, well, it's time to backtrack to where we first started. So put on your running shoes and get a sweat on. Once you have arrived back at the prison, head down the staircase to the area below the gramophone, where all the Picasa enemies are located. Clear a path, and then you can now open the Archive Tower Giant Cell. Depending on whether you have progressed his questline, opening this cell door will free Big Hat Logan, and he will now move to the hidden library where you can purchase both his original spells and crystal variants of them. After that, he will then reappear in the room where you originally encountered Seath, but he won't be too happy to see you this time. Finally, at the far end of the Archive Tower Giant cell, you will find a Firekeeper Soul, which you can then give to a Firekeeper to boost the restorative power of your Estus Flask. Alternatively, you can consume a Firekeeper Soul, which will give you 5 humanity levels and restore your health. But I would not recommend doing this, as the benefit of upgrading your Estus Flask far outweighs the short-term benefits of consuming it. The Peculiar Doll will enable you to travel to the painted world of Ariamis, via the large painting located in the church in Anor Londo. The Peculiar Doll is located in the same cell where you first started the game, and will only appear after you have returned to the Undead Asylum. To do this, from the Firelink Shrine bonfire, head up the stairs leading to the elevator shortcut to the Undead Parish, up the staircase just past Petrus of Thoroland. From the lift, either heading up or down, drop off onto the first ledge from the bottom of the lift, located right here. Then, from this ledge, head to the right and line yourself up with the wall jutting out below. Next, do either a running jump or roll onto the wall and follow it all the way up, going through the hole in the wall at the end. Next, follow the stairs all the way to the top, and follow the edge around and you will find a bird's nest at the far end. Press the prompt to curl up into a ball and then wait. After a short time, you will then be collected by the crow and flown back to the Undead Asylum. From the top of the hill, head down towards the Asylum building, killing the various torch hollows near the bottom. Then enter the big Pilgrim's door into the Asylum Demon Boss Arena. Next, you will want to exit the arena through the door at the far side, but be careful, as if you walk across the centre of the floor, it will crumble beneath you and drop you down into an optional boss fight with the Stray Demon. So to avoid this, ensure you walk around the raised floor on the outer edges of the room. Once outside, walk past the bonfire and go through the door at the far end on the left hand side, and then go down the ladder. Follow this passageway all the way back to your cell, but before you get to the end, you will need to face off against a Black Knight that is guarding your cell door. Once defeated, enter your cell and you will find the Peculiar Doll on the floor. Now that you have the doll, you can return to Anor Londo and head down the rotating staircase elevator to the very bottom, and you can then enter the Anor Londo Church's bottom floor. Inside, you will find a whole plethora of painted Guardian enemies, so either dispatch them or make a beeline for the very large painting at the end of the room. Once you have reached the painting, press interact and you will then get transported to the painted world of Ariamis. It is worth noting though, that once you enter it, you are unable to warp out of the painted world, and must complete the area before you can return to Anor Londo. So make sure you are fully prepared before you take on this stretch of your playthrough. In the painted world of Ariamis, you will need to use the Annex Key in order to unlock the door that leads to the upper area that contains a couple of must-have items, these being Velka's Rapier and, more importantly, the Dark Ember. To find the Annex Key, from the main courtyard, head towards the high wall, and then to the left-hand side you will find a well, and a ladder leading down to a subterranean maze filled with bone wheel skeletons. Unfortunately, this is where we will find the Annex Key, but fear not, this maze can be easily navigated providing you know where to go, and which illusory walls to break through. So, from the bottom of the well, head straight forward. At the junction, you will need to turn left, but first, you will be ambushed by a bone wheel skelly coming from the right-hand passage, so be sure to either have your shield at the ready or your finger on the dodge button. Once this skelly has been dealt with, take the left-hand turn and continue forwards, and you will reach another junction going left or right. And both of these directions also have bone wheel skellies waiting to attack you. So if you do happen to trigger them at this point, make sure you are ready to take them on. Luckily for you, for the purpose of this video, you don't need to go left or right, as there is an illusory wall directly in front of you. So if the first bone wheel skelly that you encountered didn't already roll into it, then simply attack or roll into it, breaking the illusion, and then continue forwards. At the end of this passage, turn left, and you will be greeted by yet another bone wheel skelly. So take it out, and then you will find the Annex Key on the floor at the very end of the tunnel. It is worth noting that there is another passageway in this tunnel with an illusory wall that will lead back to the well, but to save getting confused or turned around, just retrace your steps from the way you came in, and head back up the well. Once you are back in the courtyard, head for the building in the opposite corner of the courtyard, and you will find a locked door. Open it with the Annex Key, and then head up both sets of stairs until you reach a doorway at the top. Go through the doorway, and then you will find yourself at a crossroad. If you turn right, break through the wooden boards, and you will then find Velka's Rapier at the very end of this path. If you continue straight forwards from this junction, you will then come to a staircase on your left-hand side, leading down to an area containing a couple of engorged zombie enemies, which when killed will release a cloud of toxic gas around their body. A handy tip for these enemies is to kill them with either fire or chaos weapons, as this prevents the toxic cloud from happening. Once you enter this area, if you haven't already killed them earlier on in the run, 2 crow harpies will fly down and ambush you, so be prepared to take these enemies on. Once this area is clear, you will find the Dark Ember on a petrified corpse of a blacksmith. The Dark Ember, once given to Andre Evastora, will allow you to modify a +5 divine weapon down the occult upgrade path. The Broken Pendant is a key item that will open a vortex in the Darkroot Basin, giving you access to the Artorias of the Abyss DLC. However, in order to obtain the Broken Pendant, you will have to figuratively jump through a few hoops first. So first things first, you will need to rescue the Dusk of Ulasil, who is currently trapped in a golden crystal golem in the Darkroot Basin, in a cave behind the Hydra mini-boss. So if you haven't already slayed this many-headed enemy, that's what we need to do first. Then, once you have defeated the Hydra, hug the left-hand side of the lake and follow the edge past the ladder until you see the golden crystal golem, at the far end of the lake in a cave. It is worth noting that after defeating the Hydra, you will need to either quit and reload your game, warp, or leave the area for the golden crystal golem to appear. So, once it has appeared, you will need to attack and kill the golem, as this will then free the Dusk of Ulasil. Once she has been freed, exhaust her dialogue and choose yes when she asks you the question. Now that she has been freed, we can head over to Anor Londo and the Duke's Archives to collect the broken pendant. If you haven't previously travelled through the Duke's Archives, take the left-hand path from the main bonfire in Anor Londo, and follow the path all the way up to the top. Provided you have already obtained the Lord Vessel and placed it at the Firelink altar, the Golden Fog Gate will now have vanished, giving you access to the Duke's Archives. Work your way through this passage, past the 2 armoured fangboars, until you reach the elevator, and then take it to the very top. Next, you will need to be careful here, as in this area at the top of the elevator, there are several undead crystal soldiers and a crystal archer ready and eager to kill you. Clear the immediate area of all crystal enemies, and you will notice in the top right of the room at the top of the steps, there is a blue crystal golem, and you will need to kill it in order for it to drop the broken pendant item which you will need to access the DLC. It is worth noting that the crystal golem is always here, but it will only drop the broken pendant after you have freed and spoken to the Dusk of Ulasil. So make sure you have completed the previous steps before moving on to this section. Now that you've obtained the broken pendant from the Duke's Archives, walk back to the Undead Parish and make a beeline back to where you rescued the Dusk of Ulasil, in the cave at the back of the Hydra Lake at the bottom of the Darkroot Basin. Then at the very far end of the cave, you will see a purple-black portal, and if you head towards it and interact with it, it will trigger an animation where you get pulled into the Artorias of the Abyss DLC. The Crest Key will unlock the door to the tower above the Artorias boss fight, giving you access to Hawkeye Goth, a merchant NPC that will both sell you wares and, if you have a nice chat to him, will aid you in your battle with the Black Dragon Calamite. First though, to find the key, you will need to traverse from the Ulasil Township bonfire, located just after the Artorias boss fight, to the buildings in the lower Ulasil Township. So from the bonfire, head down the stairs and turn right, descending the next set of stairs to a lower platform. On here, do a 180 and kill the enemy bloathead that's waiting ready to ambush you. Once defeated, continue forwards and descend the next set of stairs to a large open area containing 4 more bloatheads. Dispatch them and then go down the wide staircase and past the lift shortcut. Continue down the next set of stairs and kill the 2 bloathead enemies. Then follow the next set of stairs all the way down, and it will lead you to an open area with an enemy bloathead and a bloathead sorceress. Kill them both and then continue down the stairs, sticking to the left hand side. Keep following this path down the stairs and across the wooden bridge, killing any enemies along the way. When you reach the round section at the end of the wooden bridge, there will be a mimic chest in the centre of the platform. Take it out if you wish, or just run straight past it and follow the stairs down and round to the level below. At the very bottom of the stairs, you will reach an open area, with a bloathead enemy right in front of you that will immediately run towards you. But the more pressing matter is another enemy bloathead waiting around the corner, so take this one out first and then kill the other one after. Next, cross the stone bridge, avoiding the ranged attacks from the bloathead sorceress at the far side. Then take her out, and then turn left and go down the small staircase at your right. At the bottom of the stairs, turn left and kill the bloathead, and then at the end of the corridor, turn right and go through the doorway. Once in this room, you will be attacked by a bloathead to your right, and another will drop down from above when you head towards the staircase on the left. So take out these enemies and then continue down the stairs. Once at the bottom of the staircase, head through the passageway on your right hand side. You can choose to take out the enemies before this, but at this stage, you should be good to just run past them without the fear of being attacked from behind. Once you have gone through the door at the bottom of the stairs, follow the next staircase all the way to the very top. From here, go up the wooden staircase in front of you, and then go up the next set of stairs on the left-hand side of this room. This will then lead you to a balcony with a bloathead enemy. Take them out, continue forwards, and go through the arched door at the far end. Once through the door, turn left and you will see a small wooden platform jutting out, and a lower level to your left-hand side. This is where you will need to go. So to do this, you will need to run down the wooden platform and then quickly turn towards the left and jump through the archway, and you will then land on the lower floor. You can also roll off the wooden platform if you prefer. In this room, you will find a bloathead next to a chest, so take out the bloathead and then prepare to take on another mimic. Once defeated, the mimic will drop the Crest Key. So next, where do we use it? Firstly, head back to the Ulasil Township bonfire, and once there, head back towards the Artorias boss arena. And as soon as you enter the archway, turn immediately right and then follow the staircase all the way up to the top. From here, follow the path round, and towards the end, you will need to turn right towards the tower. You can then use the Crest Key to unlock the door, and climb the ladder up to Hawkeye Goth, who can be utilised to buy various wares from, but also, if you talk to him after initially encountering Black Dragon Calamite, he will then ask you if you are having trouble and need help. If you then proceed to answer yes to both of his questions, you will then get a cutscene where he shoots Calamite with a bow, which will make the Black Dragon Calamite boss fight so much easier. Now it's time for the one key to rule them all, and that is the Master Key. In a nutshell, the Master Key can be used in place of 6 other keys that can be obtained during the first half of the game. These being the Residence Key, the Watchtower Basement Key, the Mystery Key, the Sewer Chamber Key, the Key to New Londo Ruins, and the Cage Key. But it is worth noting that it won't open every lock that each of these keys is actually needed for, but more on that later. The Master Key can be obtained one of 3 ways. Firstly, it can be chosen as your starter gift during the character creation screen. Secondly, if you choose the Thief class, it will be included in your starter equipment, leaving you free to pick another starter gift. And finally, it can also be purchased from Domhnall of Xena for 5,000 souls once he has moved from his initial location in the depths over to Firelink Shrine under the Sewer Aqueduct. As mentioned, while the Master Key can be used instead of certain other keys, it won't necessarily open everything that those keys would have if you obtain them individually. So here's a quick rundown of what it can and can't be used for. The Master Key can be used in place of the Residence Key, which will open a door in the Undead Burg, giving you access to a chest containing 3 gold pine resins, which will be extremely useful against the Taurus Demon boss fight, as gold pine resins apply lightning damage to your weapon, and the Taurus Demon has a weakness to this type of elemental damage. However, where the Residence Key would also be able to open the door in the lower Undead Burg, freeing Griggs of Vinheim, the Master Key will be of no use. So to free Griggs and have early access to various magics, you will still need to purchase the Residence Key from the Undead Merchant in the Undead Burg. The second key that the Master Key will work for is the Watchtower Basement Key, which opens up a shortcut between the Darkroot Basin and the Undead Burg, via the Watchtower, which can be accessed either from below the Taurus Demon or from the Darkroot Basin side, up the small staircase to the right of the Hydra mini-boss. But beware, as Havel the Rock is guarding this shortcut, so just be prepared to dodge, dip, duck, dive and dodge. The third key that the Master Key works for is the Mystery Key, and this will open up Lautrec of Karim's cell in the Undead Parish, below the Bell Gargoyle boss fight. The fourth key that it replaces is the Sewer Chamber Key, which opens the door to the bonfire room in the depths. The fifth key that the Master Key can be used in place of is the Key to New Londo Ruins, and this will open the shortcut between New Londo and the Valley of the Drakes. The final key that the Master Key works for is the Cage Key, which will open multiple cages in Sen's Fortress, including the cage that imprisons Big Hat Logan, a cage containing a hero soul, and several empty cages. Unfortunately, while the Cage Key does also open the lift cage shortcut in the centre of Sen's Fortress, the Master Key cannot be used for this. So, now that we know what the Master Key can and can't be used for, the main question is it better to choose this as a starter gift, or just wait until later in the game and purchase it from Domhnall of Xena? Well, there are pros and cons for both, and it really depends on what type of playthrough you are doing. For those on a first playthrough, I would personally recommend waiting until later in the game and purchasing the Master Key. The main argument for this is that as Dark Souls is designed around a careful balance of challenge and reward, the Master Key would allow access to areas that new players may not be ready for, leading to encounters with high-level enemies way too soon. And while Dark Souls is intended to be a challenging experience, for new players, having the added challenge of over-difficult areas and enemies would inevitably result in high degrees of frustration as opposed to a difficult challenge you are wanting to overcome. In addition to this, for me, one of the greatest aspects of Dark Souls is that sense of discovery, and having the Master Key from the get-go would definitely lessen this experience, compared to the sense of discovery when unlocking areas through natural progression. Plus, it is worth noting that by the time you can buy the Master Key, most of, if not all of the keys that the Master Key can be used for, you would have found the originals for anyway. For those who have already played Dark Souls or are doing additional playthroughs or even speedrunning the game, I would 100% recommend choosing the Master Key as your starter gift. Having the Master Key from the start of the game will enable you to optimize your playthrough by not only obtaining better items and weapons sooner, but by also skipping entire sections and bosses such as the Capra Demon in the depths. With the Master Key, you can gain access to the Valley of the Drakes and then beeline it to the end of Blighttown and the Second Bell of Awakening, meaning you no longer have to traverse all the perilous walkways or poison blow dart enemies that frequent this area. Overall, the Master Key is a powerful tool that can drastically alter how you experience Dark Souls. For experienced players, speedrunners, or those who want to minimize early game frustration, it can be an invaluable asset. However, for newcomers or those who wish to experience the game's natural progression, skipping the Master Key as a starting gift and purchasing it later might provide a more balanced and rewarding journey. Ultimately, the choice depends on your experience level and preferred playstyle. And for now, that's it! You now have all the information on how to unlock all of Lordran's nooks and crannies. Let me know in the comment section below your thoughts on the Master Key and whether you would choose it as a starter gift or wait until later in the game to obtain it. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more Dark Souls content.